but let me welcome Vanessa to the program, and let's come up to date with what's been going on in the Middle East and Hezbollah.
Yeah, well, certainly I'm just going to carry on from the short excerpt you showed on Monday from the Times of Israel that was claiming that Israel had preemptively struck the launch sites in Lebanon. And I will now prove that that was the Times of Israel fibbing. First of all, the US didn't, despite the 1/3 of their military being moved to the area, to the region. They only provided Israel with intelligence during Hezbollah's response. That's a comment from the Pentagon. And then regarding the claim from Israel that they preemptively struck thousands of targets or missile launchers inside Lebanon, let's have a listen again to Alistair Crook, former diplomat and very knowledgeable on the region, talking about exactly that.
So Hezbollah was planning the operation to fire drones and rockets at 5:15 on Sunday morning. And Israel started to an attack, and a direct attack, and it involved, I think, about 100 aircraft. But contrary to what the Israeli propagandist at the IDF was saying, and I know this not from Hezbollah, but I know this from inside Lebanon, people who are on the ground there. It was a chaotic 20 minutes. Israel just bombed various valleys where they imagined the ballistic missiles were. But they'd been cleared out of there some time ago, and there were no ballistic missiles. You can check that. I mean, there are people on the ground who know what's happened. There are no missiles. So when it said they destroyed thousands of missile launchers, this is a complete lie.
I concur with Alistair Crook on that. And then, so basically, top US general who's currently visiting the northern occupied territory, so on the border with Lebanon, rather than going into Tel Aviv to speak about Gaza. So that's quite interesting. He's claiming, General Charles Brown, that Hezbollah's response, despite it only being supposedly the first part of the retaliation, reduced the risk of regional war, but he warns that, of course, we're still waiting for the retaliation from the other members of the resistance axis, including the most important, Iran. So then let's have a look at a little video that was put together showing what Hezbollah actually hit inside Israel. And it's interesting that Israel is not putting any statements out at all. There's a complete blackout about the actual damage caused by Hezbollah's attack. So, I mean, quite an impressive first stage of the retaliation. Then let's have a look at what Israeli media is also trying to present as the problems with the Hezbollah attack. So if we have a look at the headline from the Jerusalem Post, the IDF is claiming that 90% of Hezbollah's rockets fired from civilian areas. And of course, that's a claim that you'll often hear about Hamas in Gaza. But let's have a look at a later image actually published by the IOF themselves, which shows quite clearly the red blobs there are the targeted missile launchers. And I think you can see quite clearly, even from the IOF evidence, that they are pretty far away from any civilian areas, comparing to, of course, the Israeli military bases embedded in the center of Tel Aviv amidst civilian areas. So then what's also been happening in Gaza in the last 4 days, 170 have been killed, and what has been really an increase, if it's possible, of the genocidal campaign, 390 injured, more schools targeted, more journalists killed. And the majority of the Gazan civilians are now basically being pushed onto a coastal area, which has reduced the area of safety considerably. As you can see, probably 2 million Gazans are going to be crammed into this area between the land and the sea. And then let's have a look at what they face. So they have tanks from behind them, boats from the sea firing on them. And this is just one clip of what happened during the day. I mean, obviously that plane was only firing flares, but of course what it's demonstrating is that at any time these tent cities on the beach can be bombed and there is absolutely nowhere for them to go. A Shin Bet chief warns settler violence doing indescribable damage to Israel. Ronan Bar wrote to Netanyahu warning that Security Minister Ben-Gvir's actions in Al-Aqsa could lead to bloodshed. We've been talking about this schism between the far-right extremist factions and really the return to the Irgun terrorist gangs under the control of the far-right. And then I just wanted to show this example of these far-right gangs to the south of Hebron, demonstrating Shia terrorism against Palestinian farmers and landowners.
Someone touches him, my cows.
Okay. Why your cows came here?
Why cows? Because this is my land.
But this is my house.
I was given it by God and Abraham and
Shame. Hey,
Shut
look,
the fuck up.
this is my house.
Not your house.
This is okay. That's your house. Okay, you
Tell your crazy witch to go to fuck to the house. Let's go.
Where?
Let's go right now. Show
What
your
you
phone.
want?
No, I want to dance with you, man.
Dance with
I
me?
want to dance with you. You look,
I'm not your bitch.
you look sweet. You are my bitch. And you look sweet, you know? You look so fresh, so sweet. I would be happy to sit with you in a jail someday. I would be happy. You know שדה תימן? שדה תימן? אונס לשם שמיים, מה שנאמר. אתה מבין? מה אני מדבר?
I don't know. I mean, I personally find that video deeply disturbing. Teman, of course, is the prison where the soldiers were accused of raping a Palestinian prisoner.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much for that, Vanessa. Charles, let's